So all praise to the Most High Israel. All praises to the Most High God. Hey, let's pop it off. Let's go to Psalms, right? So if you remember the last class, us dealing with the spirit of how we have to roll, right? Just dealing like our forefathers. I want to read this scripture, Psalms 147, 19 through 20, showing that this Bible was for us, right? We got some new people. We deal with new brothers. This Bible was written to us. It was for us. This is our history. Our historical facts are in this Bible right here. Watch this. Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 147 and verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation.
Right. The words of God was given to us, Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. We were given the words of God, and through this, we find our hope. We find, the challenges that we had and how we overcame the faith of our forefathers and foremothers in this book. Read on.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
And another nation didn't know this. They didn't have the liberty to look in this and seek and say, hey, this is my people. It's not them. It's us. All right. Let's go to Baruch chapter 3. So giving us, he gave us the Bible. The word of God is ours. And guess what? We the only ones that can open the book and gain the understanding and the prophecies therein. Read this, 3 and 36.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 36. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved.
He gave us his knowledge. He gave it to his servants, Jacob, Israel, the beloved. He gave it to us. So we can go in the Bible and do this right here. Go to Sirach. Chapter 44. We can go in the Bible and show ourselves in the Bible. No other nation can do this. They can't open the Bible. Now, they may be able to open and say, I'm the one, we are the people that put you in slavery. They can do that, but they don't have any history that built on them. God choosing them. God said, hey, you my people, you my elect. I chose you. I'm going to lead you out of captivity into the promised land. No other nation can say they had that. Read this. Verse 1. Start at verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them. Right.
So let's slow it down a little bit. He said, let us praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. Right. So this is given to us now. Us that's hearing this right now, we got to see who these famous men are. The ones that we have to praise, our forefathers that begot us. Who are these people? What souls are these? Well, how did they move? Right? So we talk about generational fortitude, meaning they had a certain strength, a character about them when they walked on earth. Right? And it was passed down to their generations. For some reason, it skipped us a little bit, and we got hit during different eras, the dark ages, the times of our captivities where we would totally destroyed from our heritage culture of who we are. Then we got hit and was like, we lost that. But God said, I gave you the laws. I gave you the laws. You understand the prophecy. I'm gonna raise up men that's going to be able to show you who you are. Going to allow you to do this. Hold this. Go to Baruch. Go to Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30.
The book of Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30.
Come on.
For I knew that they would not hear me. Because it is a stiff-necked people.
We were a stiff-necked people. We would not hear God. This happened to us. Go ahead.
But in the land of their captivities.
But in the land of our captivities. Go ahead.
They shall remember themselves.
We was going to remember ourselves. We was going to open the book and be like, hold on. It say Christ is black. It say the prophets of foretime are black. This talking about us. It say, hey, they went to slavery on ships. Who was that? Was that you? Yeah, that was him. It was me. It was us. Our forefathers, this happened to us. So we the ones can dive in this book that was given to us to find our history, our culture, how to move, how to get built, right? So let's go back. We're that rebellious people, though. But watch this. Let's go back. Yes, sir.
The book of Sirach, chapter 44, in verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us.
Right. So we praise those famous men, our fathers that begat us. Right. That's why we be like double honors, because these men are before us. They set the standard. They showed us how to move, because at one point we didn't know who we were. We walked contrary to God's laws. We had no fortitude in it, no discipline, no discretion, no nothing. But God said, hey, I'm gonna leave a remnant that's gonna wake the people up, gonna awaken them to who they are, show them that this is their book. And how did they forefathers move? They move with integrity. They move with a certain spirit of dealing with the Lord. And we're gonna dive a little bit into that. All right, keep reading.
Verse 2, The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power.
These men bear rule in their kingdoms and renowned for their power. Come on.
Giving counsel by their understanding.
They gave counsel by their understanding. So there was a group of men, our forefathers, these famous men that understood the Bible and gave it says, and giving counsel by their understanding. We witnessed this with King Solomon when the two women came and they said, "This is my baby." He was like, "Well, cut him in half." We witnessed the counsels, their understanding of the scriptures. Go ahead.
And declaring prophecies.
And what?
Declaring prophecies.
And these our forefathers declared prophecies. No other nation has the luxury to say that. So that we as men have to understand, this is us. Our people have the luxury to say this. This builds you. I don't know, man. I'm sitting here. This builds me to say, hey, this is my forefather. A black man was able to understand this Bible. And 8 years ago, I was like, I ain't know what the hell this was. I was blind. We were blind years ago. But now you got the understanding, you understanding this, it starts to build over time. And our forefathers had this. This is a good thing. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Leaders of the people by their counsels.
Leaders of the people by their counsels. They're leaders of the people by their counsels. Not because they got, they got ranked up. Yeah, I'm a leader because I'm a 10, I'm a 20, I'm a 30, 40, 50, 60. No, because they had understanding of the scriptures and they counseled well. And all of us want to be leaders. All of us, we're leaders. We want to grow into this, to be the bishops, to be like our bishops, like our deacons, our captains. Guess what? We got to walk this walk like our forefathers. These men had some fortitude about them. They had something in them that allowed them to move according to the word of God. Of course, there's fear with it, applying the laws of God, but their mind was different. Their mind was different. Go ahead.
And by the knowledge of learning, meat for the people.
And meat for the people. The knowledge of learning was meat for the people. Go ahead.
Wise and eloquent in their instructions.
In their instructions. So real quick, last night I had another call, and one of the islands that we'll visit, it had somebody reminded me. What's the dude that died? The Black Panther dude. What's his name? Fred Hampton. Yeah. So the brother died at a young age. So in this one island, they had a similar Northern Kingdom brother, 22 years old, the same spirit as this brother. But look at the 22-year-olds now in the world. These young men don't have the same fortitude. They don't move the same way. Their generation has been cut down tremendously. We look at the 22-year-olds now, they probably dead or they OGs in the hood. That's not how our forefathers rolled. That's not even how our forefathers that was in sin rolled. They had a different spirit about them. But us coming back to the knowledge of God, we got to roll a certain way. We got to have the It said, be able to give counsels by our understanding. We want to be the renowned people that had power. We are those people. We just got to bethink ourselves. We got to live up to the stature that we once were. We haven't awakened to it yet. Some of us, we got to see this thing. But what we got brothers in the midst want to be simps. Brother, here, a whole class officer brought out, fire class. You better prove properly. And then the next night, on the Sabbath, most likely,
damn,
Smash Town. I'm gonna knock your doonies off. Nigga, you ain't even got no real job, bro. You can't even do this. You can't provide. You forced it. But brothers don't think. Our forefathers didn't move like that. They didn't say, well, let me go and hit her. And then we had laws in place if they did some dumb stuff like, hey, bro, you know you ain't about to get away with this. Go ahead. I don't want to hear I ain't got money. I ain't got the. No, you messed up. Handle that shit. That's what it is. But our forefathers didn't move like that. We didn't run like that. They were different. And we got to come back to that. All right, let's go. Yeah, I'm sorry, I finished that.
Wise and eloquent in their instructions.
Okay, all praises. Let's go to Job 8. So we're going to look at our forefathers. The Bible tells us to do that. Go back to these men of foretime, how their spirits were, how did they move, what mindset did they have, how did they guide their children, right? We're going to hit on a couple of them, but let's go to Job 8 and 8.
The book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
We must prepare ourselves to the search of our fathers. Let's stop. Look, this is beautiful. It's our fathers. It's nobody else's, y'all. Y'all got to understand that. You got to see yourself in it. A lot of you don't. You have yet to learn that you are the people of the book or accepted that. You might have heard it many times. We have said throughout week. This is how you know some brothers don't give a damn, though, because they'll still get rebuked week after week and still show up to the bishop class at 6:45. Damn. And leave before the class over with. Who is this? Who are you? You act like you ain't in this book. You got to see that. Some of you got to get built for that. Some of you won't hear. You're going to be that example. That's the plot you got right there. That's where you're going to be at. You laid it down, said, this is my mat. I'm going to take it like that. And some of you brothers, hey, it is what it is. But you got to see. You got to acknowledge that these are my forefathers. I'm going to search them out. And how did they move? When they were in captivity, how did they move? What did they do? How did they overcome things? We got to see this. Go to 1 Chronicles 28. 1 Chronicles chapter 28. Our forefather King David, what's what he was talking to, what he spoke to the people, and then he's what he said to them. Start at verse 1.
The book of 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 1. And David assembled all the princes of Israel, and the princes of the tribes, and the captains of the companies that ministered to the king by course, and the captains over the thousands, and captains over the hundreds, and the stewards over all the substance in possession of the king and of his sons, with the officers, and with the mighty men, and with all the valiant men unto Jerusalem.
Read.
Then David the king stood up upon his feet and said, hear me, my brethren, and my people. As for me, I had in my heart to build an house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Right.
So he said, hear me, man. I had it in my mind. I had it in my mind to do this, build this house. Go ahead.
And for the footstool of our God, and had made ready for the building.
That's a heavy one right there, Cap. A footstool of our God. I mean, hey, that's what Bishop brought out last week right there. Look, hey, the kingdom to come is just a footstool to God. But go ahead.
Verse 3. But God said unto me, thou shalt not build an house for my name, because thou hast been a man of war and hast shed blood.
Right. So God was like, nah, you shed too much blood, bro. You killed by the 10,000s. I can't let you just go and put your hands on this one. Nah, I can't let you do it. But go ahead.
Howbeit, the Lord God of Israel chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel.
This is a beautiful thing, though. Out of all the fathers, he chose King David. Out of all the forefathers in there, he chose him. Y'all got to see this, man. Some of y'all have not recognized that you have been chosen. You haven't accepted it. Some of y'all going, I know I'm Israel, but you're not of Israel, though. Some of y'all going to fall into that. Watch this. Keep going.
To be king over Israel forever. But he hath chosen Judah to be the ruler. In the house of Judah, the house of my father. He chose who? Chose Judah.
Judah. Y'all better get that right. He chose Judah. Go ahead.
The house of my father. And among the sons of my father, he liked me to make me king over all Israel.
He made him king over all Israel. Keep going, though.
And all of my sons, for the Lord had given me many sons.
So King David, he had many sons. Read.
He hath chosen Solomon, my son, to sit upon the throne of the kingdom of the Lord over Israel.
But he chose Solomon, King Solomon, to sit on that throne. Read on.
And he said unto me, Solomon, thy son, he shall build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. Moreover, I will establish his kingdom forever, if he be constant to do my commandments and my judgments as at this day.
This is a sign right here. This is something our forefathers said that was given from God. He said, hey, if he follow my ways, my will, I'll give him a kingdom forever. All he got to do is follow it. Y'all, you hear that, right? This is something that's stated. Throughout history has been stated. Y'all follow my commandments, you will get the kingdom. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Now therefore, in the sight of all Israel, the congregation of the Lord, and in the audience of our God, keep and seek for all the commandments of the Lord your God, that ye may possess this good land.
Read that again. Read that again. Verse 8. Read it again.
Now, therefore, in the sight of all Israel.
Now, y'all got to paint this. This is King David talking to the people. Where we read earlier, he gathered the people. He talking to them. That means that was generations in the midst. And he's showing them how they need to move. What we got to do. Come on.
The congregation of the Lord. And in the audience of our God. Keep and seek for all the commandments of the Lord your God.
Keep the commandments and seek them. That means you got to read. Go ahead.
That ye may possess this good land. And leave it for an inheritance for your children after you forever.
So you can leave this inheritance for your children after you forever. For your generations, right? Go ahead.
And thou, Solomon, my son.
Now he got to go to his son. Son, listen up.
Know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind.
This same thing he said to his son, he's saying to us, his kids, the generation that came afterwards. Guess what? We are years down the line, but this is still for his seed. Watch this. Read on.
For the Lord searcheth all hearts, and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts.
Read.
If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever.
If you seek him, he will be found of you. But he'll cast you off if you forsake him. We have to see this. Read the next verse.
Take heed now.
Take heed now.
For the Lord hath chosen thee to build an house for the sanctuary.
He chose us to rebuild this house. He chose us, you. Come on.
Be strong and do it.
Be strong. Don't complain. Shut up about all that. Just do the job. It's our job. We trying to rebuild something here. A nation that's not desired must gather together. That's us. We got to see this. All right. That's it on that. Go to First Maccabees. Let's get these brothers. These brothers were some powerful brothers, man. This whole family right here. We got to see this. Start at chapter 2, verse 1. First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 1. Let's see how these men rolled.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 1. In those days arose Matthias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jerob, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin.
Right, so Matthias is the father, right? Read.
And he had 5 sons. Jehonan, called Sadis, Simon, called Thasi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Avaron, and Jonathan, whose name was Aphas.
Read.
And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said,
Matthias, he said he saw the blasphemies that was going on, the sin that was going on. Think about this, right? That was during their time, but put yourself in today's time right now. Put these same acts. We see the wickedness that's going on. Come on.
He said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people in the holy city and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers.
This is what we witness today. It says right here, it says, we were delivered into the hands of our enemies and the sanctuary in the hands of strangers. Those is in our land right now. Imposters, they are strangers. The same thing he witnessed in our land, we're witnessing it now in our captivity about us being in the hand of our enemies and them in our land. Those strangers, imposters over there. Read on.
Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the street. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
Read.
All her ornaments are taken away.
That's something interesting there. That means these other nations, they ain't innocent. But go ahead.
Of a free woman, she has become a bondslave.
Read.
And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty. And
Jump to 14. Jump to verse 14.
Verse 14. Then Matthias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth.
So his whole family, they rent their clothes of the sight that they seen. So hold this. Go to Ecclesiastes 7:7. This is what you witness right here. The state that our people are in, the destruction of our land, something was turning in their minds. Come on.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Read.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
These men that had the wise counsels, that understood the prophecies, the laws, oppression made them mad. It made them mad. They were like, hold on, wait. They took us in captivity. They took our land. Oh, hell no. This is the spirit that they had. Our forefathers. They were different. We got to get back to this, Israel. Watch this. Go ahead.
And the gift destroyeth the heart.
Go back.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 14. Then Matthias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt.
The king's who?
The king's
officers. Come on, bro. Go ahead.
The king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice.
Read.
And when many of Israel came unto them, Matthias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Matthias on this wise.
This is what he said to Matthias. Now, y'all got to take heed. Y'all better take heed to this. You have to. You have to look at this. Put yourself in this same predicament. How are you going to move? Now, we know some brothers, because they ain't really like that. They don't really be around when they got the plenty opportunity to be around. They don't. They're not like that. They're not built like this. Watch this. Go.
Thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man.
So
in
he
this
tried
city.
to talk him up. Man, you a ruler, bro. You really the you know what I'm saying? You got it, bro. Everybody know you, bro. Everybody gonna listen to you, bro. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead.
And strengthened with sons and brethren.
You got your whole family following you. You got strength behind you. Go ahead.
Now, therefore, come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment.
But you come on over here and follow my ways. Follow me. Give in to this. Come on.
Like as all the heathen have done.
Make a covenant with me like all the heathen have done. Go ahead.
Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thine house be in the number of the king's friends.
No, you do this, I owe you. You my friend. Matter of fact, whatever you need, I got you. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards.
Matter of fact, if you follow me, bro, I'm going to pay you. This gonna happen in the last days, and some brothers gonna get paid. You said gold? You willing to give me a gold plate? Oh, I'm ready. What I gotta do? Where does Officer Raphael live? Shoot, he's over there on down the street up there by the skate rink. Damn, the brother just gave him up. No fortitude at all. Our forefathers didn't move like that. But some brothers gonna be willing for a piece of change to say, I know the president. I'm cool with the head of the CIA. I got the FBI in my back pocket. If you mess with me, I can get you knocked like that. Brothers want that kind of rep. Not understanding that God got you. He got angels standing right here listening to every count you saying. That's how deep God roll. That's how his pocket's so deep. The angels standing right now can knock you off right now. But you willing to sell out your brother. Our forefathers didn't do this. Watch this. Come on.
Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away every one.
No, stop. Start over. Because I want y'all to understand something here. Matter of fact, pull up Fortitude again. Pull the definition up one more time. And read this again. Why are you doing that?
Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice.
He what?
Spake with a loud voice.
No, I don't feel comfortable doing that. No, he spoke with a loud voice. He said, listen, this is how it's going to go. This is why he was talking. He was loud. He wasn't all weak and puny. He wasn't sitting in the corner, yellow, make me sad. No, he moved different. And guess what? If the father moved like that, you think the sons moved the same way? They did. These were the king already recognized you got strength behind you. It's you and your kids and your people. He knew he was different. Watch this. Go ahead.
Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away every one.
Read this definition. Click it, bro, because it might be something else I wanted to.
The definition of fortitude: strength of mind that enables a person to encounter danger or bear pain or adversity with courage.
This man had that fortitude, bro. His mind was different. It wasn't normal. This is how you know he was rolling like his forefathers. This is the same way we have to roll. You read on.
Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
He said, we going to walk in the covenant of our fathers. Me and my kids, we're going to walk like this. You ain't about to sway my thoughts. No, you're not about to try to buy me to turn on my God and my people. Ain't no way. This man was different. This is how we got to be. We got to remember how forefathers moving like this. And they ain't give a damn. That's the same mindset we got to have. Just like our leaders in front of us that travel these countries, go to these places, and don't care if they're getting put in tight, small, rough spots, they still going to teach God's word. That's right. To the scattered. This is how we got to be. Go ahead. They're going to stand bold. Go ahead.
Verse 21. God forbid that we shall forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left.
He said, we ain't going to turn from our religion. What we know, the laws of God, what was taught to us from generation to generation. Go ahead.
Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin.
This is why when you see your leadership, man, we be seeing brothers, we be like, what is going on with these brothers? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Who raised you? Why are you moving like this? So now we see our forefather, he get to see an account with one of the brothers, and he moving simple. Go ahead.
According to the king's commandment.
Read that one part again. The Jews what?
There came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment.
According to the king's commandment. So he couldn't get Matthias, but he got this dumb Negro. He got this Negro to say, hold on, what you need? You said you give me silver. You gonna pay me? And I get to say I know you like that? We hang, we cool. Yeah, this man right here was a traitor. Right off the back. Watch this. Go ahead.
Which thing when Matthias saw, he was inflamed with zeal.
And now our forefather was like, hold on. This man got to be out of his mind. This dude a traitor. Right off the back. Go ahead.
And his reins trembled.
Uh-huh.
Neither could he forbear to show his anger
now,
according.
Sidebar. We are not a hate group. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Right? We don't condone acts of violence. But our forefathers wasn't weak. They didn't roll like that. They wasn't simple.
Right.
Aforetime, you had to get handled when you walked from God, when you was a traitor. That's why we got to cut you off. That's why today we got to cut you off. You got to go. Watch this. Come
and
on.
His reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger.
He couldn't forbear to show his anger. He got pissed off. Go ahead.
According to judgment.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore he ran and slew him.
But he said this anger, though, guess what? It was according to judgment. It was righteous. Righteous anger for the wickedness his brother did. This man had some type of fortitude that we got to get, man. Some of us can't see it. Go ahead.
Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. He slew him upon the altar.
He didn't care what the king's commandment was, what he put out, whatever excuse you. No, he had to put him to death because he went against God and his people. This man was a traitor. We got to move. When we see these brothers, we got to point them out. Mark these dudes. You got to get your mind right so you won't fall subject to being following the king's commandments, the ways of the world, the mark of the beast. Go ahead.
Also, the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
He killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down.
This is what happened. This is how our forefather moved. Last couple verses on this. Go ahead.
Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God.
He dealt what?
Zealously for the law of God.
He had a fervent spirit for the laws of God. That's why he instantly was inflamed and mad and angered and was angered because of what he witnessed, what he saw. We got to see that. We see brothers in sin. This is serious things. You can get us all destroyed for the way you moving. You don't remember the stories of foretime when our forefathers was stealing stuff? He said, hey, I don't destroy everything. Don't take nothing. And they taking it, put it under their tents. Now you getting the whole camp jacked up. So obviously he had some wisdom. He was like, hold on, what this dude doing? We got to move the same way, brothers. We got to have that same mind. Like, hold on. Hold up, swole up. You tripping. Go ahead.
Like as Phineas did unto Zambri.
Now he give accounts. Go ahead.
The son of Salom. And Matthias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me.
This is what we saying. This is what our leadership is saying. You zealous of the law, follow us. Because we following after Christ. We following the steps of our forefathers who was zealous for the law. And we got to see that. All right, jump down to verse 49.
Verse 49.
Uh-huh.
Now when the time drew near that Matthias should die, he said unto his sons, now hath pride.
Here go. We still on the generation of Fortitude. We still on it. Now, his sons was in the midst. They witnessed the accounts. Now it's his time to leave the earth. Go ahead.
Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength in the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
Now he told his sons, he left something for them. He said, hey, don't fall. Don't slack. Be willing to give your life for this. Give your life for this. We got to see it. Go ahead.
Called to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time.
Now he's saying, hey, bethink your father. Go to yourselves. Go listen and see what your fathers did, the acts that they did. How did they move aforetime? Come on.
So shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name.
Right. Come on.
Was not Abraham found faithful in tension?
So now he go into accounts of our forefathers in the past of how they moved. Go ahead.
And it was imputed unto him for righteousness. Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment.
Joseph kept the commandments in the time of distress. Go ahead.
And was made Lord of Egypt.
He was made. He was lifted up over Egypt because he kept God's commandments in a time of distress, trouble, when he was to death, whatever the case may have been, locked up. He said, "No, I'm still gonna keep what my forefathers have taught me. God laws. I'm going to adhere to it. I'm going to follow it." Jump down for the sake of time. Verse 60.
Verse 60.
Verse 59.
Verse 59. Ananias, Azarias, and Misael.
I'm sorry, 58, my bad.
Verse 58. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven.
Elias was taken up for being zealous and fervent of the law. Go ahead.
And Ananias, Azarias, and Misael, by believing, were saved out of the flame.
Like, who are these brothers? Who know these brothers? Who are these brothers? Go ahead. Okay, all praises. Go ahead.
Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions.
Read.
And thus consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
So he read accounts throughout all ages. And then he goes and follow up and say, hey, consider this. Throughout all ages, none of them that put their trust in him, read it, come on.
Fear not them. Fear not them.
I'm sorry, read 61 again.
Verse 61. And thus consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
None that put their trust in him shall be overcome. He's letting them know that. Be zealous for the law unto death. Because these men were, some of these men were in points where they were going to die. But guess what? They wouldn't overcome. Like Daniel, like the brothers, they put in the fire and walked out. Watch this. Keep going.
Fear not then the words of a sinful man.
Don't fear the words of a sinful man. Go ahead.
For his glory shall be dung and worms.
Right. His glory going to be dung and worms. Don't worry about what these other nations, these sinful people going to say, going to push, to try to put fear on you. Whatever the case may be, their end is death. Your end is everlasting life. Brothers, we have to understand this. This is how our forefathers moved. And we should move the same way they did. No difference from that. Go to chapter 13. Read verse 1.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 13 and verse 1. Now when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea.
So this guy was going to come and invade the land of Judea. Go ahead.
And destroy it. And saw that the people was in great trembling and fear.
This is how you know we see this in our leaders. We see this. Some of you brothers have the characteristics of this right here. You showing strength during adversity. We have to move the same way like our forefathers. And guess what? His father was Matthias. His father instilled this in him. He saw his father acts, so he moved a certain way. Watch this. Come on.
He went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together and gave them exhortation, saying, give yourselves.
So he exhorted the people that was afraid of what was going to happen. Go ahead.
Ye yourselves know what great things I and my brethren in my father's house have done for the laws.
Note this, what we have great things we done for the laws. Go ahead.
And the sanctuary. The battles also.
And the battles also. Hold on, y'all remember this? That's what he telling them. Remember this, come on.
And troubles which we have seen.
Read.
By reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake.
Slain for Israel's sake. Come on.
And I am left alone.
Read.
Now therefore, be it far from me that I shall spare mine own life in any time of trouble. For I am no better than my brethren.
He said, I'm willing to give my life. I ain't no better than them. I'm no different from them. I'm willing to give my life for this truth. His father told him that. He told them that. Be zealous for the law. This is how he's, and look, he ain't speaking all week, y'all. He talking to them. He exhorting them. He vamping them up. Get them ready. Come on.
Doubtless, I will avenge my nation and the sanctuary and our wives and our children. For all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice.
He said he willing to defend his people. Come on.
Now, as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived.
Now they heard this. They was like, oh, yeah, this is what we needed. We needed those accounts. We remember those things. We heard of the stories. We remember our forefathers in the past and how they moved. Even though they was near-death experiences, they still didn't give in. And they were revived. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And they answered with a loud voice, saying, Thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas and Jonathan thy brother.
He said, you going to be my leader. This is the thing, y'all. Y'all got to understand this. When people see that in you, I remember Cap did a class on this before. And he mentioned something similar. Like, the people pick the leader. The people pick the leader. And that leader, he can't be weak. He can't have characteristics as the dude that gave up to the king's commandments and sacrificing on the damn altar. You can't be weak. You can't be showing up late to the Sabbath. And the sun go down at 6 o'clock. What's wrong with you? You ain't even keep the Sabbath. Something wrong with you. Your whole class come out, bro, and you go turn around and do a fornicate. Something wrong with you. And some brothers be dealing with stuff with their wives, bro. And you in the midst of sin, you in the midst of straight foolishness, and you wonder why your house is in shambles. Something wrong with you. Our forefathers didn't move like that. And the people saw that in him. Like, hold on, thank you for what you're doing. We need you. Go ahead.
Fight thou our battles, and whatsoever thou commandest us.
He said, fight our battles. Be the leader of this army. Come on.
And whatsoever thou commandest us, that we will do.
We gonna follow you. We want this. Y'all want to be leaders of y'all want to be these men, because look, some of us want to get ranked up and moved up, but you ain't around. You ain't doing what it takes. Your spirit is off. You don't have the fortitude. Pull it up. Pull it up. You don't have some synonyms. Come on.
Synonyms of fortitude. Courage.
You don't have any courage, a bone in you.
Bravery.
You're not brave. You're not willing to fight the fight. You're afraid. You hide. When you see your brother in sin, you don't say nothing. You're not about it. You go out and about and look, we see this, man. This stuff happen. You at work, your boss say something and you hide the truth. You're afraid. This is not our forefathers. They didn't move on they didn't have the spirit of fear on them. Not the ones that was moving in the spirit of God. Go ahead.
Strength of mind, strength of character, moral strength.
It's a backbone. And we know they're saying something. That's why brothers snakes out here, because they ain't got no damn backbone. None whatsoever. And we see that. Brothers afraid. But the ones that's going to have fortitude, they're going to have a backbone. They're going to have a spine. They're going to have a spirit in them. They're going to have a spirit in them that's going to allow them to keep moving in the truth and grow. And we got to get there, bro. We got work to do. And I'm afraid, man, look, when it comes down to it, bro, we about to go on this trip, man. We're going to be gone. This is the last hour, y'all. It's some shit that's going to happen when we come back. It's some stuff that's going to go down because we're going to be doing too much. We're going to be shaking something. And some of you brothers going to take the silver and the gold. Some of you brothers going to follow. Oh, yeah, I can do this. Some of you brothers going to take it and still be in the midst of us. Or some of you going to take it and go hide somewhere. I'm ready to move. We're going to see it. So finish this out. Verse 9.
Verse 9. Fight thou our battles in whatsoever thou commandest us, that we will do. So then he gathered together all the men of war and made haste to finish the walls of Jerusalem. And he fortified it round about.
He fortified it round about. He had men that had the fortitude, the understanding, the zeal that was vamped for the protection of their people and applying the laws of God. And they came and they did what they had to do. We got to see this, man.
Sheesh.
Damn! Read that.
Special agent for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
King, ain't going to keep the king's commandments right here. Oh, you say I could get what? How much?
78,000 on the low end, up to 153,000 a year.
Damn. Damn. That brother said, I ain't never seen that kind of money. They might drop the check right there. They might give you up front half of it. A signing bonus, 50,000. Brothers ready. Read.
Weekends as needed.
Weekends as needed? But why the brother ain't showing up no more? Yeah, he gone. Or he working on the weekend in here. He's sitting in the midst of us. He at work. He breaking God's Sabbath as a trainer, and he working. This is the brother that has no fortitude. Damn. Talk about I'm a part of God's army. Hell no, you're not. You're part of the Secret Service. You're an FBI. You're an agent. You're a part of that. And guess what? He said that was going to get destroyed. That's what we read. That was going to crumble. That was going to be an end to that. That's not an end to God's kingdom. All right.
Hey, yo, it's in Little Rock, Arkansas, too.
Damn. Zoom in. Damn.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Somebody in the midst. They done already signed up. I saw this a week ago. I saw you post this a week ago, Cap. They done signed up already. Damn. Damn. Yeah, we going to, hey, all right. We may not know you, but the angels right there. You dumb fool. That's all they saying. The angels like, you dumb fool. You dumb fool. All right, go to Psalm 78. Watch this. Read verse 5.
The book of Psalm, chapter 78 and verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel.
God gave us the Bible. He gave us the laws. Read on.
Which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
And we were supposed to make these known to our children. The Bible, make it known to your kids so they can understand how our generations rode, how our forefathers rode. Go ahead.
That the generations to come might know them, even the children which should be born.
He said the ones to come might know him. Something happened there. It was a gap in the midst of time where we forgot God. But guess what? He said, I'm going to leave a remnant. I'm going to wake them up in these days, these last days, and they're going to follow according to what this says. They're going to take heed to this. Come on.
Who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God.
They're going to set their hope in God and not forget his works. Read on.
But keep his commandments. This is what the kids were going to be what was going to be instilled in them. Watch this. Come on. And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation.
And don't be like our forefathers that slipped and fell off, a stubborn and rebellious generation. Come on.
A generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with God.
Yeah, it was a generation that was not steadfast with God. That didn't hold. They had no fortitude. Go ahead. Keep going.
Verse 9. The children of Ephraim being armed and carrying bows turned back in the day of battle.
Read.
They kept not the covenant of God.
The northern kingdom didn't keep the covenant of God. They fell off. Come on.
And refused to walk in his law.
This is what we've seen over time. And some of our people still got that spirit. Some of you brothers have this spirit. Refuse the laws of God. Come on.
And forgot his works and his wonders that he had showed them.
You forgot his works. Because we were taught in captivity that we were not the people of the book. So therefore the works didn't pertain to us that God had. But you learning them now. and you still fall off. You still give in to the $78,000+ a year to be a spy. You still giving in to the wickedness. You still falling in your sin. You still asking the same questions about the sin you deal with. Man, I still have a trouble watching this video. Jergens is the favorite lotion, bro. That's my favorite lotion. I used to like Vaseline. Bro, what's wrong with you? You can't stop? Why? Something wrong with you. Go ahead.
Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers.
He did marvelous things in the sight of our fathers. These are accounts that we read about, that we read about in our history. This book that was given to us, that's supposed to be passed down from generation to generation. Why you think the Bible is the #1 book? Because God said his word was going to go out. Everybody was going to get a touch of it. All our people were going to see. They see the Bible. Remember, this is the same book. You open a drawer at the hotel before you have sex with that hooker. It's right there. Where you put your phone in your wallet at. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you do. The same one that collect dust on grandma's shelf. You know, the same ones. This is the book, the #1 selling book that God gave to us to show us accounts of how to move, how to act, what to adhere to that can save us out of this captive state. Come on.
In the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan,
Read.
He divided the sea and caused them to pass through. And he made the waters to stand as an heap. In the daytime also he led them.
That's all I want. We see the acts of our Father. We see these things. Guess what? It was passed down from generation to generation. Remember, there was a gap, though. We had different eras of time where we fell off. We didn't know who we were. But you have no excuse now. Us as men, as growing leaders, the MOVs, the brothers that want to be MOVs, that want to be soldiers, want to be officers, captain, bishop, all of that, guess what? We got to adhere to this. This thing we must soak up, and we must pass it from generation to generation. Remember the fortitude that our forefathers had. How they moved. They wasn't giving in to no BS. When they were in the spirit, they in the spirit. And God was with them. All right? Go to Judges chapter 2. Now, if we don't learn these things, watch this. Judges 2 and verse 10.
The book of Judges, chapter 2 and verse 10. And also all that generation would gather unto their fathers. Mm-hmm. And there arose another generation after them.
Wait, the generations were gathered to our fathers, and there arose another generation after us. Come on.
Which knew not the Lord.
That knew not the Lord of our people. Come on.
Nor yet the works which he hath done for Israel.
Nor the works that he hath done for Israel. That's a generation that didn't know God. Then and now. We seen it. God woke up people, though. He said, nah, I'm seeing these prophets back because in the dark ages they was tripping. You know what I'm saying? They were doing some stupid stuff. Eating their kids, sack, all kind of wicked nastiness. Orgies, all of this. Nah, this can't go like that. I'm gonna allow some men to wake up, some prophets to wake up that's going to bethink themselves, remember their customs, adhere to their customs, and teach their people. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. Go ahead.
And served Balaam. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them.
We follow other gods. Don't we see the same thing happening right now? Our people following other gods. A generation that has awakened up. Now, we know it's a generation within Israel that's repopulating and we bringing up righteous seeds. But when we step out the doors, that's a generation that know not God. The God is not taught in the communities anymore. And they following this same thing right here. Go ahead. What verse you at?
The end of verse 12.
Go ahead.
And bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger.
They provoked the Lord to anger. Go ahead.
And they forsook the Lord, and served Baal and Ashtaroth.
Come on.
And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of the spoilers that spoiled them.
Right, because of our disobedience, rejecting God's laws, he said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and deliver you. Go ahead.
And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about.
This is what happened, right? This same thing happened to us in Deuteronomy 28. Slavery. We were sold to our enemies. Come on.
So that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. Whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil.
Right. The Lord was against them wherever they went, because they didn't go out on God's behalf and following God's commandments. No, that was in wickedness. Come on.
As the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges.
Stop. So there was a generation that was wicked. And that's a righteous generation. That's a generation that had fortitude, and that's a generation that didn't care at all about God. But God said, what, read?
Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges.
He raised up judges during this time. Come on.
Which delivered them out of the hands of those that spoiled them.
The same thing he's doing now. He's raising up judges now. You men that's listening right now, he's raising you up to help deliver our, hold this. Go to Obadiah. Maybe you don't understand you're a savior. Maybe it ain't instilled in you yet. Maybe you ain't understand that this is your book. This is about you. Read that. I think it's verse 21.
The book of Obadiah, verse 21. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the Mount of Esau.
So judges is going to rise up, saviors, to judge the Mount of Esau, to judge these nations. That's us. God did the same thing that he did aforetime. He's doing it again. And this scale is way bigger. This scale is going to be great. This the last time. This the last time. Do what you got to do. Y'all put it on, man. Swing it over. All right, let's read that. Go back.
The book of Judges, chapter 2, and verse 16. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them.
Read.
And yet they would not hearken unto their judges.
There's some that's not going to hearken. Come on.
But they went a-whoring after other gods.
We going to see this. That's why 2/3 have to die. They got to go. Come on.
And bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way, which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments.
So they turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying what?
Obeying the commandments of the Lord. But they did not so.
Well, our fathers obeyed the commandments, but it was a generation that raised up. Even when God sent judges back and they still didn't hearken. We're going to see that in the midst of Israel. It's some that's going to get in here, going to be in the midst of us, our congregations, and they still not going to hearken. They're going to still have something that they cleave unto that's of the world and not of God. Watch this. Keep going.
Verse 18. And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies. All the days of the judge, for it repented the Lord because of their groanings by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers.
That's why sometimes we leave these towns, man, and they do worse. When we leave these towns, they'll shoot. They shooting. This is crazy. This is what we this our forefather wisdom is the same thing. But guess what? God he got us. He here. We here. We have to do the job. Like our forefathers that kept the laws, we gonna keep it. All right. Drop that. Let's go to Philippians. This is what we have to do. All right. The turning point is now, Israel. We got to turn, brothers. We got to make sure our minds is right. Follow the steps of our forefathers. Paul said that. Watch this. I'm sorry. It's 3 and 17. Philippians.
The book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 17. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so, as ye have us for an example.
Right. So mark them. Don't read it again. I'm sorry.
Brethren, be followers together of me.
Be followers together of me. This is what Paul is saying. Come on.
And mark them which walk so.
And which walk so. Come on.
As ye have us for an example.
Just example. He have us for an example. This is the thing we have to see. The steps that we must move. Now, we know the works and the acts of what Paul did. We got to move like that. And guess who taught him? Christ. We have to move like that. He's telling us how to move. Throughout history, we've learned from our forefathers the accounts of the way we move and what God did for them. He had respect unto them. He said, this is my friend. Oh, I'm going to take him and he ain't going to die. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We seen the accounts. We got to follow the examples. That's all we have to do. All right. 1 Corinthians 16. 1 Corinthians 16 and 13.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse 13.
Let me get that real quick, my bad. Go ahead.
Watch ye, stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men. Be strong.
So it says, watch ye, stand fast in the faith. The things that you have learned, brothers, pay attention. Watch it. Stay strong in this thing. It said, quit you. That means be brave. Like men, be brave. Be strong. Don't be afraid of what's going to come. Or what's to come is prophesied to come. Death is prophesied to come to some of us. Jail, being locked up in jail is prophesied to come. Beat, robbed, it's prophesied to come. But he said, be strong, be brave. These are the things we must understand. Don't worry, our forefathers, they understood death was gonna come, and they still endured. They still overcame. They didn't allow the wickedness of the world, the persuasiveness of the heathens, or nothing to sway their mind from God's laws and his ways. And we got to move the same way. All right. Is that it on it? All right, let's jump. 3 Holy Children, chapter verse 1.
The book of 3 Holy Children, verse 1. And they walked in the midst of the fire, praising God, and blessed the Lord.
This is what the accounts we read earlier, right? Go ahead.
Then Azariah stood up and prayed on this manner. And opening his mouth in the midst of the fire said,
this is the spirit we got to come. When we it's dangerous and we're in the midst of dangers, we don't give in, y'all. We send up to God. We send up prayers to God. We call on the Lord because he know he's not going to forsake us. He's not. Go ahead.
Blessed art thou, O Lord God of our fathers. Thy name is worthy to be praised and glorified forevermore. For thou art righteous in all the things that thou hast done to us.
Right. Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. In all things have we trespassed, and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them, neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. Wherefore, all that thou hast brought upon us, and everything that thou hast done unto us, thou hast done in true judgment.
These things that happen to us is done in true judgments because of our disobedience. Right? We got to acknowledge these things. You going through stuff, bro, because you in sin, or you were in sin, or you did something contrary to God's laws. So now you got to deal with it. But you can have strength. You can still continue. Go ahead.
And thou didst deliver us into the hands of lawless enemies.
Right. We are in the hands of lawless enemies right now. Right now. We got to understand this. Come on.
Most hateful forsakers of God.
Name the most hateful, the base people. It says forsakers of God. Go ahead.
And to an unjust king.
Read.
And the most wicked in all the world.
They are the most wicked in all the world. Come on.
And now we cannot open our mouths. We have become ashamed and reproach to thy servants.
This is what we can't even speak because of the wickedness in the world and what they have pushed. Come on.
And to them that worship thee.
Read.
Yet deliver us not up wholly for thy name's sake, neither disannul thou thy covenant.
But guess what? We still ask the Lord not to disannul his covenant. Remember what you said you would do. Read on. Watch this.
And cause not thy mercy to depart from us, for thy beloved Abraham's sake. For thy servant Isaac's sake, and for thy holy Israel's sakes, to whom thou hadst spoken and promised that thou wouldest multiply their seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand that lieth upon the seashore.
This is the understanding our forefathers had. They reference back to the accounts that they studied and heard from our forefathers that God would do for the seed of Abraham. So now he's saying the accounts in the what did it say? In the midst of the fire, he's sending prayers up. Be like, Lord, don't forsake us. You said you was not gonna cut us off. He's not just praying for himself, he's praying for his people. This is the mindset we gotta have. This is how we gotta move. That's a different spirit to be in the midst of fire and send up prayers. That's different. You got to be built different. You got to have some courage about you, some strength. You got to have a different spirit on you. Watch this. Let's go. Sirach chapter 41.
Book of Sirach chapter 41 and verse 1. O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest in his possessions, unto the man that have nothing.
Damn, that's some crazy stuff. A man that liveth at rest in his possessions, how bitter is death to him? Damn. Because he don't understand afterlife. Come on.
Unto the man that have nothing to vex him, and that have prosperity in all things. Yea, unto him that is yet able to receive meat.
Read.
O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth, that is now in the last age, and is vexed with all things, and to him that despaireth and have lost patience.
Verse 3, come on.
Fear not the sentence of death.
Fear not the sentence of death. Come on.
Remember them that have been before thee.
Here you go, the accounts of our forefathers. These men that had fortitude about them. These men were different. Remember these accounts. Don't fear death. Don't worry about the possessions you got, brothers. You holding on to stuff. No. Don't have that on you. Come on.
And that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord.
Read it again. I'm sorry. Read verse 3 again.
Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee.
Read.
And that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh.
This is the sentence. This is what we got to deal with. Come on.
And while thou art against the pleasure of the Most High, there is no inquisition in the grave, whether thou have lived 10 or 100 or 1,000 years.
You can't take it with you. Go ahead.
The children of sinners are abominable children.
Come on.
And they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children.
Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. Woe be unto you ungodly, which have forsaken the law of the Most High God.
Come on.
For if you increase, it shall be to your destruction.
Hold that. Go to Matthew chapter 10. What is he saying? You increase, it shall be to your destruction. These are ones that's not willing to die for this truth, give their life for it. Watch that. Verse 39.
The book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it. And
ahead.
He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
It's two type of people. They're going to find their life in this world, and they're going to lose their soul. They're going to burn forever. But it's some that's willing to die for this truth, that's willing to die for their people, that's going to reign. You got to make the decision now. You going to have the fortitude like your forefathers aforetime? You going to move like them that was fervent for the laws of God? Or you just going to be the one to accept the FBI application right there? I got what you need. I got juice on all these niggas. I've been joining them. I've been following them. I got it. Matter of fact, they use cold words like, bro, ak. We don't even use ak no more. This brother so way long ago. We don't even say ak no more. Brother said ak. Man, they always saying precepts, bro. Man, all you got to do walk up and say, man, I got that precept, bro. What's the precept you got? The other guy got the slang. He's snitching. He a traitor. Them the ones that's going to lose their life and burn and die. All right, go back to Sirach. Finish that out.
The book of Sirach, chapter 41 and verse 8. Woe be unto you ungodly men.
You ungodly men.
which have forsaken the law of the Most High God. For if you increase,
you love this life. Go ahead.
It shall be to your destruction.
It's gonna be your destruction. It's gonna be to your destruction. You gonna fall back because you love this. You ungodly men. You gotta see it. You love the money, the riches. You want it. Our forefathers didn't move like that. These renowned, famous men of foretime, that's your blood, didn't move like that. Unless you, the son of Judas Iscariot. Maybe you probably Judas Iscariot, long lost cut, something. I don't know. Damn. I don't know. Maybe you him and he had seeds and then they all here and you like a part of their seed or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you them. You got to examine it. I pray there ain't nobody, man, but it's likely, bro. It's likely there's somebody here, all right? It said Little Rock, didn't it? Yeah, facts, right. All right, last scripture. Go to 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 6.
16.
Start at 11, just 6, 11 and 12.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 11. But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness.
Flee these things. Flee the world. Flee corruption. Flee the thoughts of success of this world, the money, the car, the clothes, all that stuff you heard on rap songs. Flee that. That's what they want, boy. They still want the fame of the world. They still want the success in the world. I always wanted to be a rapper. I always wanted to be a real estate mogul. I always wanted to be this. Bro, flee that, bro. The world ended. You tripping. The world is ending. Flee that. Come on.
And follow after righteousness.
Follow after righteousness. Guess what? That's what your forefathers did. The ones that had cojones. The ones that had the spirit in them. Go ahead.
Godliness.
Godliness. Come on.
Faith.
Faith.
Love. Patience. Meekness.
This is the way. This is how we got to move. Just like this. Finish that out.
Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life.
Lay hold. It says fight the good fight of faith. That's the warfare we in right now. It's a spiritual war. This is the fight we got to take. Don't give in. Your success is nothing in this world. The world out there, though, that's the thing. Go ahead.
Whereunto thou art also called.
Whereunto you are also called. You were called for this. You got to believe it. And if you don't believe it, then you were not called. It is what it is. If you don't see yourself called a son of the prophets of foretime, then you not it. Read on.
And has professed a good profession before many witnesses.
Right. So we got to examine this, man. All right. We must fight the good fight. So all praise to the Most High Israel. Y'all stay in the spirit, man. Don't be simping out here. Don't be sinning out here, man. We trying to get the hell out of here.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.